Hi, welcome to Algebra on the Spot. Today we're going to focus on evaluating expressions and solving equations. In our first example, we have 4x squared minus 3 times the quantity 2x minus 1 plus 4 times the quantity 2x plus 3 plus 6x squared. We look through our expression and the first thing we see are parentheses. So we're going to use the distributive property. We'll draw an arrow from the negative 3 to every item inside the parentheses. In our second set of parentheses, we're going to distribute the 4. So we'll draw an arrow from the 4 to every item inside the parentheses. And now we'll bring down everything outside the parentheses. So 4x squared comes straight down. And we will actually distribute our multiplication. Negative 3 times 2x gives us negative 6x. Negative 3 times negative 1 gives us plus 3. Next set of parentheses. 4 times 2x gives us plus 8x. 4 times 3 gives us plus 12. And bring down the plus 6x squared. Our second step is to combine like terms, and we'll do that by stacking. So we look at our 4x squared, and we look to see if we have any more x squared terms. We see a 6x squared, so we will stack the 6x squared underneath the 4x squared. Next, we see a negative 6x. We look for more x terms. We see a plus 8x. So we'll stack the plus 8x underneath the negative 6x. And lastly, we have our constant term, the plus 3. And we see a plus 12. We'll stack the plus 3 and the plus 12. Now let's combine. 4x squared combines with 6x squared to give us 10x squared. We have the same sign. They're both positive. Next, we have a negative 6x and a positive 8x. We have different signs here, but we have more positives than negatives. So our answer will be plus 2x. Now we have plus 3 and plus 12, which combines to give us plus 15. They have the same sign. And we're through. That's all we can do because we don't know the value for x and we have no more like terms. So that's our answer. Now we'll go to example 2. Again, we have distributive property. We see parentheses. But with the first set of parentheses, we don't see a coefficient in front of our parentheses. We know that we're going to distribute a negative 1. Can't see the 1. So we'll draw an arrow from the negative 1 to 3x and from the negative 1 to the negative 1. Our second set of parentheses, we'll draw an arrow from the 2 to the x and the 2 to the 3. Okay, next line. Bring down your 8x squared and our distributive property. Negative 1 times 3x gives us negative 3x. Negative 1 times a negative 1 gives us positive 1. Next set of parentheses. Positive 2 times x gives us plus 2x. Positive 2 times 3 gives us plus 6. And we bring down the plus 5x squared. Our second step is to combine like terms. We see the 8x squared, so we look for more x squared terms. And we see a plus 5x squared. So we'll stack the 8x squared and the 5x squared. Next, we see a negative 3x. Looking for more x terms, we see a plus 2x. We will stack the x's. And we see a plus 1. It looks for more constant terms. It sees a plus 6. We'll stack the plus 1 and the plus 6. And now we combine. 8x squared plus 5x squared, same sign, so we get 13x squared. We have negative 3x and a positive 2x. We have unlike signs, but we have more negatives than positives, so that gives us a negative 1x, or just negative x. And lastly, we have plus 1 and a plus 6, which gives us plus 7. And we're through. We have no value for x, so we cannot substitute for x, and we have combined all of our like terms. So Kiani will review the steps for us while we get set up for the next problem. Step 1, use the distributive property. Anytime you see a set of parentheses in an expression and a number outside, we use the distributive property. Step 2, combine like terms. We use our stacking process to combine like terms. And if Lex will go over to our guide paper, we've just finished examples 1 and 2. Kiani will point those out for us. Those were expressions. Next, we're going to solve some equations. That will be examples 3 and 4. Now, what difference do we see between examples 1 and 2 and 3 and 4? In examples 3 and 4, we have an equal sign. The difference between an expression and an equation is the equal sign. Thank you, Kiani. Bree's ready with the equations. Let's go over to Bree. Okay, in our first, example 3. With an equation, we have two sides of an equation. We have a left side and a right side. We are going to collect all of our variables on the left side and all of our constant terms on the right side. So, Bree put a V and a C. She'll draw a vertical line through her equal sign. Okay, we have 10x already on the left side. I have Bree to circle the negative 2x because it needs to move. The negative 2x needs to go to the left side. We'll also circle the negative 3. It needs to move to the right side. We'll bring down the 10x. And we'll move the negative 2x. But when it crosses that vertical line, we change the sign. It becomes a positive 2x. Equal sign on the line. Next, we already have our positive 57. Bring it down. Our negative 3 needs to move over to the constant sign. But when it crosses the line, it changes its sign to become a plus 3. Now let's combine our terms. 10x plus 2x gives us 12x. Equals 57 plus 3 gives us 60. And our last step, divide both sides by 12. Because 12 divided by 12 gives us 1, and we have 1x, which is what we wanted. We've solved for x. And 60 divided by 12 equals 5. Now we have x on one side of the equal sign all by itself. To check our work, we would substitute 5 everywhere we see x in our original expression. Example 4. Again, we have the left side of the equation for our variables. And we'll use the right side of the equation for our constant terms. Draw a vertical line through the equal sign. Let's move the negative 6x to the variable side. Let's move the negative 5 over to the constant side. So we'll bring the 8x down. Now when the negative 6x moves to the other side of the vertical line, you cross the line, change the sign. It becomes a positive 6x. Equal sign on the line, we'll bring down our 37. When the negative 5 moves across the equal sign, it becomes a positive 5. Now let's combine our like terms. 8x plus 6x gives us 14x. Equal sign. 37 plus 5 gives us 42. And our last step, divide everything by 14. 14 divided by 14 gives us 1. They cancel. We have x on one side all by itself. 42 divided by 14 is 3. So we have x equals 3. X on one side of the equal sign all by itself. To check this problem, you would substitute 3 everywhere you have x in your original equation. And that concludes our first lesson. We'll have Kiani go over the steps right quick. Our first step was to draw our vertical line. Kiani will point through the equal sign. Our second step was to move like terms to the same side of the equal sign. Then we combine like terms. And lastly, divide by the coefficient of your x. I'd like you to visit us for more videos by going to, what ring?
Johnsonville 418.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing you next time.